Welcome back to The Learning Gardener. I'm Pip and this is Raphael, and we have got a project here today. So this was a beautiful red Waratah that had actually recently bloomed, but we've had over 1,200 mils of rain in the last 6 weeks and it's now dead. And if it wasn't before, it really is now. I've also recently had arm surgery, so I'm looking for projects in my garden that I can do one-handed. I really need to keep this arm out of it. I scar terribly and I'm just trying to keep this as still as possible. So this is a problem area that I can tackle with one hand. I also have some garlic seedlings and some garlic bulbs that really need to get planted, and I have a sweet potato, I think it's a slip that I have. I can't remember, I bought it before the surgery, and they need to go in the ground. So I'm going to clear out this pot which just has some calendulas and some onions that didn't work out in it, as well as the dead Waratah, and I'm going to clean that out. The other thing I am going to do, hopefully before it starts raining again, is take to my zucchini plant and my cucumber. There are some aphids on them and I don't want to spray, so I'm just going to cut those leaves off because anything else involves the other arm too much. So just going to give them a little haircut. So this is the Waratah plant that my lovely assistant is assisting me with, and as you can see there are some onions that never really turned into anything and never bulbed. Really, I guess I could use that a little bit, but nothing ever really happened at the end of those onions. And we have some calendulas that made a comeback after the rain. So I'm just going to clear this out, pop a little bit of soil in on top, pop some fertilizer in, and pop the garlic in. Oh, good boy. No, these ones are onions, sweetheart. You can't have them. Can't have them. I actually have some eggshells in here that haven't made it into the compost yet, so I'm going to pop them in and try and bury them before Rafi decides he's gonna have them. But if he beats me to it, you sit down. Don't jump on Pippi. That's not nice. Good boys who don't jump get eggshells. Okay, so I have a new layer of compost. I've now got to try and put the fertilizer in. Again, I've got to do it really quickly before Rafa decides to taste it, which he has done in the past. The hard thing about gardening with a puppy is that, number one, he is teething at the moment and he's got some big molars coming through, so anytime that that's happening, he wants to chew on everything and he wants to be with me always. But he really loves gardening, like really loves gardening, and if I don't include him in some way, I pay for it later, which I know sounds insane, but that's the truth. He'll go and dig something up or rip a pot apart if I don't include him. So as you probably saw, I put in a bit of blood and bone, and I put more blood and bone than normal because I knew that this bucket was pretty much empty when it comes to slow release fertilizers, so I will get some later when someone is less interested in what's happening, and I will mix that in later. But as you can see now, he's really interested in it, and so gardening with a puppy can be a bit annoying. Okay, so I have got 4 packs of a purple garlic that are ready to go in, and then I also got 2 packets of bulbs, and it says that these need to go in a full sun to semi-shade position, which this is, and that I need to plant them 5 to 10 centimeters apart, so that's what I'm going to do. worry with a crop like garlic about pulling it apart, but that came, wow, unstuck fairly easily, so that should be alright. Gotta do it one-armed. Feels like trying to wind spaghetti around a fork when you're doing it with one hand. This is actually not as easy as I had hoped for a one-arm exercise. Hopefully these will be easier to do one-armed. I still have a good bunch of bulbs to plant somewhere that, if I space them out adequately, won't fit in this, so now I've got to find somewhere for them. So the last of the garlic I think I'm actually just going to put in between these flowers. There's not really anywhere else cleared out that is ready for it where I could place these other than next to brassicas, and I did a quick search and it says you're not supposed to companion plant garlic with brassicas, so I'm not going to do that. And in here is a whole bunch of onions and leeks, and that is where Rafa likes to sit. There's also a bandicoot that comes and digs up and eats the worms and bugs and things like that, which is unfortunate, but it just is what it is. So I've got some chicken wire and I'm going to put it over the top. I've also got to re-chicken wire the back fence because Rafa has worked out how to get through there. But so there's a lot of work I've still got to do with chicken wire. I just really need 2 arms for that job. So I'm either going to wait till my best friend comes back from her holidays to help me, or I will just wait till my arm is good. But for now, I'm just going to pop these in around here because they need to go in somewhere, and they will be hopefully covered and protected from a tiny, tiny dog very soon. So I know I need to lay some more mulch. We've had a lot of rain and it just needs more mulch. The really nice thing about putting the garlic bulbs in here is that as I'm doing so, I'm starting to find little snapdragon seeds that have germinated and are actually sprouting now, which is lovely because I had put a whole bunch of seeds in and around here and I was pretty disappointed with how many actually showed up. And I know I put them in towards the end of summer, early autumn, and so my chances were very slow. Don't you step on my plants, Rafi. But still, I'm very excited to see that the snapdragons have come up. They actually were seeds I harvested from a $2 plant, so not bad. It's produced snapdragons at my best friend's house and now here. I thought you'd dug most of them up. I did. To be fair to the seeds, Rafa had done a lot of digging in this area, like a lot of digging. This one's squishy. I don't think garlic is good for dogs, sweetheart. No, why do you have to... That's fine, don't listen to me. I'm not your food source. farm. Okay, let's have a cuddle. Yes, I love you too. Rafi, you know that this is not an invitation to do a dig search here later. There's more in there, but that just gives you a bit of an idea. In the end, the zucchini actually wasn't that bad in terms of aphids. It just had a lot of leaves that were starting to turn, which were the same kind of look that last time were covered in aphids after a few days of rain, and we are anticipating a couple more days of rain now, so I just thought I'll tidy it up. Some of them were a bit broken, so I just snipped them off. There is a bit of powdery mildew starting to show up on the zucchini. It's not that I'm that worried because it's not on the actual zucchini, it's only on the leaves, so whatever. I still am thinking about ripping out the cabbage moth and caterpillar mold and infested cauliflower, and I'm going to get rid of the corn and rip that out and plant some potatoes in underneath there. But that feels like a problem for another day. I feel like I've done enough for my elbow and I'm ready to go inside. Rafa's overdue for a sleep and needs to do some training practice. And I know I sound a bit mental in the way I talk to him, but that's okay because I'm just modeling certain words for him because he's about to start the Fluent Pet communication buttons, so where he will use his foot or his nose to actually hit certain buttons that say certain words. So that's part of the reason why I talk to him the way I do, but also, like, what are you going to do? He's been stuck inside with rain for 6 weeks. He wants to get outside and play and be part of it. Do you have to keep jumping? Seems to have gotten into a slight jumping phase in the last 2 days. Anyway, so I also have the rubbish bin full of aphids to throw out, and I've got, ow, that hurt my arm. So I've also got a bunch of seedlings to find homes for. So there's a whole bunch of lemongrass and what is it called? It's not rhubarb, it's the stuff with the stalks that's colourful. I don't remember. Silver beets, that's what it is, silver beets. So I've got a bunch of silver beets, a bunch of lemongrass, a ton of violas, some tomatoes, and some carrots that actually need to find a home. So at some point I'm gonna have to like clean out my pots and put some more soil in. It just doesn't seem like a one-arm job. And if it is gonna be a one-arm job, it needs to be done bits and pieces at a time. And I think before I plant all of that, I might go to Bunnings and get some pest netting. So seeing as I have created a cabbage moth problem. So anyway, there's still a ton of stuff to be done, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Please don't try and bring the dead waratah inside. Go deal with that elsewhere, mate.